Hey, welcome back. It's Matt at the cabin. Made it up to the top of this trail, overlooking the river behind me, and there's a lighthouse here, which is really cool. And just wanted to connect a little bit about living a simple life. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the hustle bustle of things that we lose sight of the most important aspects of life. And if we can, think back to living a very simple life, we can get ourselves to a good place. So that's what I at least wanted to go over a little bit today. I was thinking about while I was out and about walking today. It's really cold. It's about 13, 14 degrees, but the sun is out, which makes it a gorgeous day here in December. So living a simple life is really about solitude. You can have those great relationships, those great friendships, but it's also taking stock in those friendships. You don't need 20 friends, whatever the case is. You got a couple really close friends. That's the most important part. But solitude is also important. And by solitude, I mean just taking time for yourself. It doesn't mean you're antisocial. It just means that you take time for yourself. You take care of yourself first, and you reflect, and you're mindful on yourself and your journey in life. And so, the number two part about living a simple life is to be mindful. And you can do that in a lot of ways. You can journal. I've talked about the power of journaling before. You can go on walks and reflect and just be thoughtful about, where you are. You can meditate. There's a lot of different ways to be mindful, but being mindful and just thinking about, where you are in life, what's important to you, who's important to you, what are your values, just to redefine sometimes, to make things simple and to keep, the 3 or 4 values that you want to live by at the forefront of your decision making. And just being mindful about that is going to be something that's very important. Third, unplug. Give yourself some challenges. Give yourself a no social media Saturday, a no phone Saturday. Limit yourself to an hour a day of social media. Yes, this is social media here, but focus on 2 or 3 people that you really want to listen to and plug into, and don't just surf and use the algorithm to go to video to video to video, and then before you know it, it's 3 hours and you're falling asleep on the couch. Like, that is not a healthy decision. So really unplug. Get away from social media, get away from the screen, get outside into nature and do some other things, because that's really what's going to give you some really great health benefits and help you lead a simpler life. That's going to be something that's super important. So whatever the challenge is, whatever your lifestyle is, unplug and get away from some of those things, because those are going to be important decisions for yourself. Another important decision, get some sun on your face, get outside in nature. Get up early every once in a while, see the sun come up, get the sun rise on your face. That is a great way to start the day. It gets your vitamin D going. It can get your endorphins going. That is all positive things for your mental health. And also take time to focus on the sunset. There are beautiful moments of each day, and I find that the sunrise and sunset, that cyclical nature of life, is really awesome. And you could be in the same exact area, the same hike at a sunrise versus a sunset versus the middle of the day, and you're going to experience different things. You're going to hear different things. You're going to hear different animals. You're going to see different things. The shadows are going to be different. The light's going to be different. And all of that is going to make for a great experience. And so try to focus in a little bit of time on a sunrise and a sunset. That is going to be some awesome stuff for you. And if you haven't done it yet, one of my favorites is just a sunrise walk, sunrise hike. They are the best. Lots and lots of health benefits from living a simple life, or, like the cabin lifestyle. That's what I like to call it sometimes. But it's up to you, really. The health benefits are that you get in nature. There's mental health benefits. There's social health benefits. There's emotional benefits. And obviously the physical benefits. Eat very simple. Find preservative-free food. Things that have the least amount of ingredients are going to be the best. If you eat broccoli, the ingredient's broccoli. If you eat chicken, the ingredient's chicken. If you eat a processed granola bar, there's a ton of stuff in there. So the more simple you can eat, the more health benefits it's going to have. And I think that that's just a no-brainer, but sometimes it's, you put that in perspective about the number of ingredients in a food, the less, the better off you're going to be. You learn to be very self-reliant when you live a life of solitude or a simple life. You don't rely on others for, your daily interactions or your simple things in life. And, that's a positive. You want to be self-reliant. You don't want your life to be determined by others. You don't want your life and the decisions you make to be reliant on what other people are doing. Of course, if you're a husband, a wife, a dad, a partner, whatever it is, whatever your titles are, those are realities of life. But you don't want to be you don't want to be reliant on other people for just your day-to-day things and what makes you happy. You want to be self-reliant so that your values are represented in the decisions that you're making. And leading a life of simplicity is going to allow you to be self-reliant and more easily make some of those decisions that are going to be best for you and the people around you. As well, I talk about this a lot. You can have very deep connections with nature, and that can be very spiritual. That can lead to a very simple cabin type of lifestyle because you're in nature, right? You rely on nature, you connect with nature, you get out to a hike, you appreciate the little things. If you're watching this and you're hearing some of the birds in the background, take advantage of those things. Take advantage of the sun on your face. You might be lucky enough if you're on a walk to see other types of animals, depending on where you live. Those things are all proven to increase your mental health and your physical health with the steps that you get. If it's a cold day, I heard this the other day. There's no bad weather, there's bad clothing. What does that mean? If it's raining out, you dress for it. If it's cold out, you dress for it. If it's hot out, you dress for it. You just are aware of your natural surroundings, and you get out there and you enjoy it. You just don't make excuses for it. That's a huge positive. Another cool one is when you live in the cabin lifestyle or a simple lifestyle, you have a couple of people, if you're in the woods, that you can really rely on, your neighbors that are maybe close by or not so close by. But oftentimes your neighbors become the animals, and your annual experiences are determined by nature and the seasons, and your clock is determined by the sunrise and the sunset. It's not determined by the meetings you have at work or the things that you need to do or the start of a new cycle or whatever it is, right? So your natural rhythms of life start to solidify because they're simpler, because you're in nature, and that is just a much healthier thing, right? Like, you eat when you're hungry. You don't eat because you're stressed or you're bored or whatever the case is. And you eat healthy foods. You don't eat tons of things with lots of preservatives. So those are all great ways to live a simple life and to lead a healthy life. And then the community out there that is starting to realize that these things are so much more positive and better for you is a great community. There's a lot of people taking the step to become, to live a minimalist, simple lifestyle that's focused on a couple values, that is really focused on your loved ones. And it gets away from the screen. It gets you away from the hustle bustle of today, just things like that just aren't healthy. And I think sometimes people are just so emotionally and mentally sick because they can't do it. Like, they don't sleep well, they don't eat well, they don't exercise, they go to a job that they don't like, that doesn't challenge them, they don't have good social relationships, they're filled with stress and drama. Now, wonder why, so many people are mentally and emotionally sick and depressed and anxious and, all of that stuff. It's because they're not tapping into themselves. They're letting other things dictate the decisions that they do and basically run and ruin their life. Like, you got to get away from that. You have to be true to yourself and really believe in who you are and spend time doing it. And I will say this, at first, it's hard. It is hard to get away from the social media. It is hard to get away from a screen. It is hard to, focus on yourself and make some decisions that are good for you and, get away from the pressures of pleasing other people. But you have to do it. And if you do it and you make it an integral part of your life, then you're going to start to realize it is just so much better for you and the certain people around you that you want to take care of and that are going to take care of you. So, this channel is about sobriety, but it's also about simple living and cabin living. And those things are all about leading a simpler life where the focus is you and your loved ones. And that's super important. So if you can integrate those things into your lifestyle, whether it's through recovery, whether it's because of an addiction, or it's just because that's the lifestyle you want to live, you're going to be in a much better place. And as I always say, if you are looking for support, you can find support at your local AA chapter, your Meeting Guide app, your smartrecovery.com. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Rely on people who are close to you. But at the end of the day, a simple life in sobriety, in recovery, or just because that's what you want to do is going to lead you down the path to a life that is much more valuable, much more enriching, and is going to be better for the people around you. The last thing I'll say is a simple life does not have to be a boring life. It can be a beautiful life, an enriching life, and one that is just so rewarding for you and the people around you. Your simple life, your personal life is going to result in a much better professional life as well. So hopefully the picture comes together for you and you can take stock in the 7 or 8 things that I talked about. I'll just run down the list as a quick summary. Living a simple life means you are focusing on yourself, a life of solitude with important relationships. You're mindful about your decisions and about your values. You unplug, you get away from screen time. You let the cycle of the day, the sunrise, the sunset, determine what you're doing, and you get out there and you realize that the sunrise and sunset can be amazing for you and your health. You're self-reliant. You don't rely on other people to make decisions for you. You can get deep connections with nature at different times of the year and in different seasons, depending on where you live. And the community that is out there that is starting to do this is a powerful community. So get after it, enjoy it, start with small steps, and I think you're going to realize the power of it. All right, goodbye for now.